So in recent days, the Matrix has been trending on social media because several influencers have used terms such as red pill or the agents of the Matrix to describe issues they have been facing, claiming that they have felt persecuted. However, the use of the Matrix as an analogy to day-to-day problems ironically validates what the film itself tried to warn us about all those years ago: the dangers of simulacrums and simulations. So in this video, we will be explaining some of the biggest misunderstandings of the Matrix, the resistance, and how being ignorant makes these influencers part of the supposed Matrix that they're trying to defeat. So what would you think if I told you that sometimes the hero in the story is created by the villain? Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
For years, people have used the Matrix as an analogy or allegory for the systems of oppression and control. For influencers like Logan Paul and Andrew Tate, the Matrix is the system of economic and social power that controls the world. It's not machines that control our perception of reality. It's politicians and people with invested interests and power. The red and blue pills have been reduced to a dichotomy between truth and lie, to the point that it has been used by Elon Musk and Ivanka Trump on Twitter, something that Lily Wachowski did not like, to say the least. Why was Lily so upset at these people for using red pill as a synonym for knowledge? What these influencers and or politicians don't understand about what the Matrix was trying to convey? The first movie began with the story of Thomas Anderson, Neo, a nobody computer hacker and somewhat of a rebel who spent his nights researching a group of cybercriminals he admired. Neo didn't know what the Matrix was, but he needed to know because he felt that something was wrong with the world, which eventually led him to Morpheus.
At last.
Understanding that your reality is a lie, that you are special because you know something that so few do, is a feeling that appeals to everyone's egocentrism. It makes us feel like we are the one. When watching the first Matrix movie, we are Neo. We are the person who is discovering the truth behind everything, the one who knows the lies behind the system, and who managed to manipulate it to our advantage. The Matrix was to prepare us to face the system and to become shepherds to enlighten others. Up to this point, the analogy of the Matrix and the oppressive systems of governments or politicians is valid. The problem is what is hidden beyond the red pill or the Matrix itself. After the first film was released, the philosopher Jean Baudrillard claimed that the Wachowskis did not understand his book, Simulacra and Simulation, which helped inspire the plot of the movie. According to the author, the simulation he was referring to was not a computer simulation. It was a system of something that is not real, but simulations occur as if they were. For example, Disney parks are simulations of the happiest places on Earth. The way people interact and react to these parks is the simulacrum. Another example is social media websites. Many people create a digital life that does not correspond to their real life, but they live their days feeding their social media presence. If a person pretends to be a millionaire on Instagram and their environment and lifestyle changes thanks to this attitude, this person would be living in a simulation. This simulation shapes their real lives. It's quite similar to Cypher wanting to perpetuate life in a fake reality, rather than staying in the real world to help the resistance. The point of simulacrums and simulations is that they replace reality. We live in a hyper-reality where the facts do not matter, only the interpretation of them. Reality itself loses its meaning, and only fragments of what is real remain. Author Jean Baudrillard called this the desert of the real.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Baudrillard was not referring to a computer simulation or governmental power. Simulations are everywhere, including this very channel. Now, the Matrix did not show the entire picture. It limited itself by telling us a story about a computer simulation and a resistance, but it did not delve into the original theme of the desert of the real. Most people who have seen the Matrix only remember the most simplistic aspects of the movie. Neo is the one who discovered the truth after taking a pill, and his purpose was to save humanity. In Matrix Reloaded, the truth was unveiled. The largest simulation in the Matrix was not the computer simulator. It was the architect's plan. The machines discovered that the way to give stability to the Matrix equation was to add the illusion of freedom to the equation. This illusion of choice led the humans to accept the Matrix system, but it also caused a problem. There are a 1% of people who reject the system, and so Zion was created, the city that houses and keeps an eye on that percentage of humans who manage to awaken from the Matrix. Also, another negative effect is that these minor errors in the equation would accumulate, manifesting into the integral anomaly and then placed into a human. All this is under the control and direction of the machines. In simpler terms, the human resistance, the savior, the red and blue pills, etc., they're all part of the same plan made by the machines to keep the humans in check. It's like a religion or a cult created by machines to give hope to the rebellious humans and thus keeping them ignorant to the truth. When Neo took the red pill, he didn't choose to take the pill. He accepted what was happening because he had no other choice. But choice is an illusion.
Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
The choice is an illusion.
The true simulacra are the idea that Neo is the savior and that humans would stand a chance against the machine. Everyone in the resistance lives in the simulation of war, but the reality is that this war has been lost long before it began. Worst of all, it has been an intentional war created to keep people busy and away from the real problem. The machines have created a facade to control those who think that they are smarter than the rest, yet there is no escape. Understanding this, we can comprehend why referring to Neo and using terms like the Matrix or the agents coming for these influencers and famous people is wrong. And ironically, they end up vindicating the ideas of Matrix Reloaded. Social media are simulations of reality that only exist on the net. This hyper-reality is a guise of our reality. While these rich influencers complain about being oppressed, they wave the flags of oppression and resistance against the system that feeds them. If there are people in power who oppress us, if there was something similar to the Matrix, these rich influencers would claim to be our saviors. Yet they are an extension of that same system they claim to be against, the same controlled dissidents, only they may not know it. History's largest and most effective dictatorships used controlled dissidents to maintain power and control. Before an enemy rises against an empire, the empire itself creates a false enemy, a simulation of an opposing entity that fights against the system and manipulates the people and prevents a real uprising from happening. When these influencers talk about how the system oppresses them and how they discovered the truth after taking a symbolic red pill, it reassures us that not only is there a major misunderstanding of the messaging of the Matrix movies, but also that many of them could be used as controlled dissidents to sway the opinion of their followers. Neo was never the one. The resistance never existed. Everything was planned by the machines. The humans never had a chance to win, but the illusions of a supposed savior kept them hopeful.
It was a lie, Morpheus. The prophecy was a lie. The one was never meant to end anything.
Those that claim that the Matrix is after them are the same ones that create a simulated reality. They do not live in reality, but in a social media bubble where their fame and money control their lives. In their deluded minds, they believe to be the saviors, the one that can change the minds of others. Like Neo, the rebels believe he was the savior, but they were trapped in a simulation, and simulations are often more powerful than reality. It is denying reality, replacing it with a simulation. John Baudrillard said that when the simulation is in effect, a type of collective psychosis occurs, and everyone begins to act as if this were real. Take the case of Paul Logan for example. After being attacked on social media for his schemes, he began to talk about how these attacks came from the highest of all social spheres, from the quote-unquote Matrix. Thousands of people began to support and believe that there is a system that is oppressing their favorite influencer and that only they can see it. What they are doing is acting accordingly. This is the drill, the simulacra, acting under the influence of something that is not real, the simulation that quickly replaced reality, the desert of the real. When someone mentions taking the red pill, they are reducing the truth into a dichotomy. As Bugs mentioned, reality cannot be oversimplified. Seeing reality in black and white is one of the oldest manipulation strategies that has led millions of people to take sides and do horrible things. Now, this does not mean that there are no systems of oppression on the internet or in politics. Of course there are. The problem is that if we are not aware of what is presented to us, we can get caught between simulations that only benefits those within the same spheres of power. The fact that rich people believe that they are fighting the Matrix is laughable. They are the Matrix, even if they don't know it. They just need a good architect to reveal the truth to them.
Bullshit.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
Again, the irony here is that the use of the analogies of these films end up validating the plot of Matrix Resurrections. We are trapped inside loops without knowing our purpose, living in our own simulations. The Matrix is much more than red pills or the fictional agents coming after you. It is realizing that we too are part of simulations that affect the lives of others, and that when we think we are special, like the One, we may just be another piece of the system controlling those who think they can escape. But do you agree? Do you believe that these rich influencers are being oppressed by the Matrix? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.